Hello, and welcome back to my podcast. I'm recording this one from Cornwall, and I have to say I'm finding it rather difficult to think about anything other than how beautiful it is here. We've been blessed with extraordinary weather, unbelievable. The sea is very clean and pure, sky's blue. I've been staying in a place called Carbis Bay, very close to St Ives, in the most glorious spot right up on the cliffs. You know that particular feeling you get when you're somewhere beautiful and you suddenly realise you don't need much at all to feel happy. And recently I went to the Minack Theatre, which is a stunning theatre, absolutely beautiful. And I went to see a show, 1928 I think it was written, called Anything Goes, and the music's by Cole Porter, so very recognisable music. And if you've never been to the Minack, it really is, well, it's just an extraordinary place. It's carved into the cliffs at Porthcurno, and you can see the Atlantic Ocean stretching out beyond the stage. And there I was, and I was sitting in this incredible natural amphitheatre, looking out over the sea, and I found myself thinking, perhaps anything goes is quite a good philosophy for this chapter of my life. Not in the sense of being reckless or throwing all caution to the winds, but in the sense of being open. Open to possibility. Open to change. Open to unexpected adventures. And perhaps, most importantly, being open to saying yes to life. Because there's a temptation, as we get older, to make our lives smaller. We know what we like, we know what we don't like, we know what makes us comfortable, and we like our routines. And there's nothing wrong with comfort. In fact, I think, well, it's a wonderful thing to feel comfortable. But sometimes I have been wondering whether comfort can quietly become a place we live in. And I've been thinking about that quite a lot recently, and what it means to live forward. So I've been asking myself, what does living forward actually mean when you're 78 years old? Is it about starting again? Is it about reinventing yourself? Is it about taking enormous risks and proving that age doesn't matter? Perhaps it's something very much simpler. Perhaps living forward is simply about remaining curious, about willing to see what's around the corner. And Cornwall has definitely been reminding me of that. Because there's something about the sea and the coastline that makes you think about journeys. You can stand on a cliff and see the coastline disappearing into the distance, but you can't see everything. There's always another headland, another bay, another place you haven't yet discovered. And life's rather like that, isn't it? We don't actually know what is around the next headland. And perhaps we don't need to. Perhaps we just need to be willing to keep going. And the other thing that I've been thinking about is how little we actually need to feel content I have the sea, I have the sunshine, I have beautiful walks and lovely places to sit. I have good company. I have time. Oh, that precious gift called time. And for me, certainly, all the things that can seem so important when I'm at home become rather less important. The emails, the WhatsApp messages, the jobs on the list, the things that need sorting, the things we think we ought to be doing, they all seem to recede a little. And I find myself thinking, why don't I live more like this when I'm at home? Why do we so often have to go away before we allow ourselves to slow down? And I really mean slow down enough to notice what is already here. I think there's something very powerful about noticing. The warmth of the sun on your skin, the sound of the waves, the colour of the sea, cup of coffee in the sunshine, a conversation with a friend, a feeling of laughter. These things are so ordinary, and yet they're also everything. And perhaps that is one of the gifts of getting older. We become more aware of that. And we begin to understand that life isn't necessarily about accumulating more and more. It can be about deeply appreciating what we already have. And I've had another reminder of that this summer because of my broken foot. Because being forced to slow down for many of us isn't easy, especially if you're someone who likes to move. I love being active and walking and practicing Qigong and yoga. And having to think about every step, literally every step, has been quite a lesson. But it also has made me stop. And sometimes life has a funny way of doing just that too. We don't always choose to pause. Sometimes the pause chooses us. And when it does, perhaps there's something truly worth noticing in it. And I'm thinking about comfort zones too. And maybe I've made myself a little bit too comfortable at times in my life. I've certainly been reluctant to step outside what I know and understand. I don't mean that I need to turn my life upside down. I think it just means I've been asking myself, what would I say yes to if I wasn't so worried whether or not it would work? What would I try if I knew I didn't have to be perfect at it? What might I discover if I allowed myself to be a beginner again? Because there's something wonderfully liberating about being a beginner. Because you don't have to know. You don't have to have the answers. You just have to be curious enough to begin. And maybe that's one of the secrets of staying alive to life. Curiosity. Not necessarily ambition. Not necessarily achievement. Just curiosity. What's next? Who might I meet What might I learn? Where might I go? And what might happen if I say yes? Since being down here, I've moved around a little bit from, well, the Minack, Porthcurno, Penzance, beautiful St Ives, Carbis Bay, and another chapter now because I'm in Constantine Bay. Another place, another view of the sea, another set of completely different conversations. And as the week unfolds, I don't know what each day will bring, and perhaps that's the point. Because we can spend a lot of our lives trying to make sure everything is secure and predictable. But for me, there's been a great deal of joy in leaving a little space for the unexpected. So maybe my message to myself, and maybe to you, is this: don't make your world smaller because you're getting older. Don't assume because you've done one thing this way for years, you have to keep doing it that way. Don't wait until everything is perfect before you say yes. And never underestimate the extraordinary richness that can be found in very simple things. A sunny morning, the sea, a good friend, a beautiful view. Really good conversation. That moment when you think, I'm so lucky to be here. Perhaps living forward isn't about knowing exactly where you're going. Perhaps it's being able to walk towards the next headland and trusting that there'll be something there to discover. So on this glorious, warm English summer day, where in your life are you being invited to say yes? Is there something you have been putting off? You're a bit scared of? Or something you've been telling yourself you're too old for? Or perhaps something much smaller. Someone you'd like to call. Somewhere you'd like to go. Something you'd like to learn. Or maybe you just need to say yes to the life you already have so that you can enjoy it more. Speaking for myself, I've spent an awful lot of my life waiting for the perfect conditions to say yes. When maybe all along, life is simply saying, come on, anything goes. And I'm going to carry that thought with me as I head towards the next headland. And I wonder what's around the corner. And for now, I'm rather enjoying not knowing. So thank you for being with me. And wherever you are, I hope you find a little sunshine today whether it's outside of you or somewhere deep inside. Until next time, with love, go gently. Thank you for sharing this quiet space with me. I hope it brought you a sense of peace and presence. If you feel moved to, I'd love to hear how it landed for you. Your thoughts and feedback really help me shape future sessions with care. You're welcome to subscribe and share this with anyone who might find it helpful. And if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast or simply connect, I'd love to hear from you. Until we meet again, go gently. Thank you.